We'll delve deep into dangerous and unsettling situations plaguing our nation with national security analyst Brigitte Gabriel on this episode of United Patriots Uprising with Gary Benford. I'm your host, Gary Benford. Thanks for joining us. This podcast is available at radioinfluence.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. You can also find the video version at Rumble, YouTube, and Conservative Television of America. Wherever you go to get the show, please click that notification button, subscribe, and tell your friends about this podcast. You know, we just witnessed some terrifying events involving President Trump and hearing about some that could even be coming down the line if they're not averted. Very, very dangerous stuff. My guest has been telling us for decades, this is the type of stuff that America would eventually have to deal with because there are a lot of forces outside of the country that have bad intentions for the United States of America. And now our problem is some of them are right here inside of our country, and they are out to do we, the people, a lot of harm. And I know a lot of people don't believe this. I know a lot of people don't believe that we're in the midst of an attempt to take over our nation. But when you just saw what happened to President Trump, and you just saw the response and the reaction, and when you're watching how the forces that are supposed to be on this are responding, I hope you're starting to catch on, people. But if you're not, our guest right now is going to really, really open your eyes to what's really going on behind the scenes in this country and why something like that assassination attempt on President Trump even got that far. So you ready to find out? Well, let's get into it. My guest is one of the most courageous people I know and somebody I could talk to forever. And when I say forever, I never get tired. I would never tire of listening to what this person has to say. She's a national security analyst, also a New York Times best-selling author. Her latest book entitled Rise. I welcome back to the show the chairman of Act for America, Brigitte Gabriel. Brigitte, how are you?
Thank you, my friend. I'm delighted to be back with you.
And you know, I'm delighted to have you back on. And the first 3 times you have been on, it was audio. This time people will get to see you so they can see. I want people to take a good look. Take a good look, everybody. Not at me. Look at her. You were looking at fearlessness. You were looking at courage. You were looking at somebody who for decades has put truth on the line, regardless of what the price may have been. And we thank you for that. And we thank you for what you've done for America. And now, please let us know, what did we just see on Saturday and thereafter? Because as this unravels, I think we're coming to understand what you always do and what I always knew, what we always talked about. This nation hasn't been safe for decades.
Well, thank you, Gary, first for your kind words. I really appreciate it. You know, courage in the face of adversity is how we fight for our country, how we stand up for our principles. You know, we are raised since we are children to, and told, stand up for what is right. You know, every decent parent teaches their child, to stand up for what is right, do good, stay away from evil, fight evil, stay away from bad people. And when I came to America and I saw what was happening in America was the rise at that time of radical Islamic terrorism. When I started speaking out after 9/11, I understood very clearly what it's like to stand up against evil and take the bullets that fly at you and take the attacks and take the death threats and take the emails, the hate mail, etc. And watching what's happening to President Trump right now, when you and I were talking offline, I said, what a time to be alive. What a time to be alive and have the opportunity to stand up and defend America again. You know, every generation throughout history, was called to serve. Some people serve on the front line wearing the uniform, and some people serve in their civilian clothing like you and I and President Trump and different people in their different capacities standing up to defend the greatest nation on the face of the planet ever, the United States of America. And when what we are watching right now transpire in our country, you have a corrupt government that has turned against its own people. The government of the United States has turned against the people of the United States, something that our founding fathers never thought will ever happen. They are turning in their graves. We are watching a political system that has been weaponized against the good people in this country who stand up and speak the truth, like you, like me, like the many others who are now thrown in jail, persecuted. Look at Steve Bannon in jail. Look at all the other people that have been persecuted. And then when you see that even our presidents, like former President Trump, get an assassination attempt against his life by an inept secret service led by inept people who were hired because of diversity, equity, and inclusion to supposedly protect our leaders, the most important people in the world, yet failed. This is why now more than ever, it is time for patriots to come together, to stand shoulder to shoulder behind our president, working together as one to protect our country and ensure victory in this upcoming election.
I hear you. And when you say behind our president, she's talking about President Trump, everybody.
That's right. President Trump.
Right. Now, you kind of know how I think, and I kind of think out of the box. So I found something very, very interesting and very, very troubling. And you being a national security analyst, an expert, I want to ask you this, and I'm not going to try and frame it and put words in your mouth, because I want to know what you really think. But I found it okay, I have to frame it this way. Both you and I know there are assassination attempts on presidents all the time. When I heard it was down at Rock the Red in South Carolina back in 2022, Laura Trump talked about the number of assassination attempts that had already been made on her father-in-law. You never hear about assassination attempts that fail. So my question to you is, why is it now, after this, we're now hearing about the possible assassination attempt on President Trump by Iranian forces? Why did they make that public? It hasn't happened. They haven't tried it. Why are they saying this now? And why, if this is true, didn't they say it before? Now, we know they never tell you about assassination attempts. They just stop them, eliminate the threat, and you never knew it ever existed. What do you think is the purpose that the Homeland Security would release that now?
Look, a homeland, I was never a conspiracy theorist. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I deal in reality, I deal in data, and I deal in research. But here's what I can tell you. The Iranian threat is not new. The Chinese threat is not new. The axis of evil's threat to take out our leaders is not new. We knew that immediately after Trump killed Soleimani that Iran wanted to kill him. We knew that even when he was in office. This is nothing new. What is new is our own government filled with so much hatred, including the deep state government employees who publicly say, kill the sucker, meaning talking about President Trump. They promote it on their social media. They are not ashamed of it. They look on my own social media. I have lefty that post, kill him, kill the sucker, let him die, let him rot. They are talking publicly about President Trump in that way. So all of a sudden, we have an attempted assassination on President Trump's life by supposedly a sniper hiding on a roof. Now, they found so much ammunition with this guy in his truck, etc. I don't know, do 20-year-olds go out and buy and know how to put together all this plot and all this plan and all this assassination thing? Did he work by himself, or did he work independently, or did he have a team helping him? And if he did have a team helping him, we know the Democratic Party will do anything at all costs to get rid of President Trump. I mean, who can forget when he first got elected? What's her name? Griffith, the comedian.
Kathy Griffin.
Kathy Griffin holding his head, supposedly behind Trump with drop dripping, thinking, ha ha ha, it's a joke. I
And
mean,
Snoop actually shot a video in which he shot him.
right. So we know they hate him so much. So I believe this is a cover up. I believe they are plotting to kill President Trump between now and the election. And I believe no matter what they're going to say, oh, it's the Iranians, it's the this, there's a this threat, there's a that threat. They are trying to create a mirage that there is this big threat that if God forbid something happened to President Trump and they were able to succeed in killing him, they can always say, it's the Iranians that killed him. It's the so-and-so that killed him because we knew there was a death threat against him. I know that the deep state and the Democrats in our country and the axis of evil hate President Trump more than our enemies outside of this country. And they will do everything in their power to kill him between now and the election because they want to eliminate him. They are scrambling. They know that President Trump at this point is unstoppable. And I firmly believe the angels of God protected President Trump on that stage, without a doubt. It was divine intervention, whether you believe in Jesus, whether you believe in infinite intelligence, whether you believe in, I don't care, Buddhism, the universe, the whatever it is. There was a divine intervention that protected his life. He is the man for the hour. He is the man for such a time as this. And he is the man who is going to save our country from the threats we are facing. And
Amen
that's why
to
they
that.
want to kill him.
Amen to that. Now, I'll tell you what went through my mind. What went through my mind, if they had made public that there was an Iranian plot to try and assassinate him prior to Saturday, President Trump and a lot of the people around him would have said, well, I have the Secret Service to protect me. They protected me from all these other attempts. I'm not going to worry about it. By announcing this after he came within a millimeter of losing his life, now it's like, uh-oh, I don't have the Secret Service to protect me. Could this be the deep state's way of announcing this to try and once again put fear in him, fear in the people around him, and actually try and stop him from doing rallies because now he knows they can't protect him, or they may not?
Well, look, I think right now the Secret Service is under so much pressure. We at Act for America have a petition right now to basically fire the head of the Secret Service. There is no excuses, whether it's President Trump or President Biden or President Obama or President Bush.
Right.
These are our presidents. We need to make sure our presidents who are serving or have retired are protected from our adversaries. These people lay their life on the line to serve. Definitely President Trump, not Biden, not Obama, not the sellouts to our enemies. The Antifa loves them. All the bad actors love them, but they hate the man who is standing up against evil, and that is President Trump. And we want to make sure he is protected, and she should be fired. No one is being held accountable for this. Why? Nobody was held accountable for Afghanistan and the pullout of Afghanistan. Nobody was held out accountable for any of the issues that we have dealt with. We need somebody to be held accountable for this. This is playing on the world stage, and we need to make sure our president is protected, and we need to be able to debate ideas in our country without fearing that we're going to get assassinated. Look, Gary, we on the right, even if we couldn't stand President Trump,
Right.
President Obama,
right.
and I could not stand President
right.
Obama. I could not stand the
I wouldn't
sight of
want
him.
it.
I could not stand hearing his voice. But never in a million years do any of us on the right, who are God-fearing, God-loving,
Right.
praying for our enemies, abiding, reading our Bibles, not in a million years would think about putting a bullet to his head, a father of 2 children, a husband, a family man. We don't think about killing people. But they do. And that's why we need President Trump protected. And I hope right now, right now, even if he has to depend on his own service and add his own security, he will do so between now and the election.
Right. And I second everything she said, because I could not stand Barack Obama for a whole bunch of reasons. Even as a black man, to have a guy, a Marxist, and selling the country out, I couldn't stand him. But I wouldn't want a bullet in his head. I didn't want him dead that way, because as Brigitte said, as a Christian, for me, as a follower of Jesus Christ, let God handle that. That's God's opinion. He puts kings and people in places. If he wants them out that way, let him take. I never wanted that, but you segued into something that I wanted you to talk about because this is your area, the world stage. And there was a post somebody put on social media. It showed what was it? It showed Xi on the phone with Putin, and Putin saying, "Bro," and this is in regard to they're watching the debate, Biden, and Trump, and Putin is saying to Xi in this kind of that somebody put this together, "Bro, you watching this?" And then Xi goes, "Gotta go, Vlad. I got another call," and it's Kim Jong-un going, "Yo, bro, are you watching this?" So my question now is, what the heck are these rogue communists, whatever you call them, you can throw Iran in there. What are these leaders thinking now when we know they want to take this guy out? And if Joe Schmo got up on the roof, what are these guys thinking?
Well, look, they know that America's falling apart under Biden, and they knew that the minute Biden took office. I mean, look at the debacles. It started with our withdrawal from Afghanistan, and it went downhill from there. While the American public is, excuse my French, fat, dumb, and happy, as the people in the rest of the world call Americans, and are not paying attention to the news, the rest of the world can't see Biden. I mean, who are you fooling? Because the rest of the world media, when he attended the G7 summits back in 2021, 2022, 2023, remember, while we prevent our own media, or our own media doesn't want to show the American public how senile Biden is, French TV or Russian TV and their cameramen who are covering these summits are showing exactly how senile the American president is. The rest of the world has been watching this, but we in America have been prevented from watching this reality. At least the Americans that watch CNN and MSNBC and all that mainstream fake news media, we on the right to watch the right type of media knew that Biden is senile. And so the rest of the world have known this for a long time. And they are just laughing because they cannot believe that America is so dumb that they will be able to put that on display for the whole world to watch, Biden and Trump side by side. But you know what? Good for Trump for pushing Biden to do this debate so the whole world can see exactly what we are dealing with Biden standing on stage for an hour and a half, 2 hours without somebody guiding him on what to say. The world got to see the real Biden. They don't fear us. They don't respect us. They know that America under Biden, Biden is not going to stop any red line. He is not Trump. And that's why these axes of evil are trying to do whatever they can do. Iran is supporting Hamas and Hezbollah in Lebanon, pushing them to attack Israel. Look what Russia is doing with Ukraine. I mean, God knows what the Chinese are going to do with Taiwan between now and the election. They know this is their window of opportunity under Biden.
Yes, I hear you. Now, I want to go back to your very first answer, Brigitte, when you were talking about no fear. And you were talking about, you know what it's like. Please fill people in, because I'm sure this is my 4th year, praise God, but there's some people that may not have heard you on this show, some of my listeners. So let them know your background, because they wonder, well, why are you so courageous? What you're going through here and all these death threats are nothing like what you grew up in, because your story is stuff that movies are made about. So fill them in to whatever extent you'd like.
Thank you, Gary. Well, when people hear my passion, they tell me, where does this passion come from, Brigitte? You speak with such passion. Well, you see, I speak with such passion because I understand what happens when people turn a blind eye to evil. I was born and raised in Lebanon, which used to be the only majority Christian country in the Middle East. We were open-minded, we were fair, we were tolerant, we were multicultural. We prided ourselves on our multiculturalism. We had open borders. We welcomed everyone into our country. country because we wanted to share with them the westernization which we had created in the heart of the Middle East. Lebanon is a republic exactly like the United States of America, but we refused to read the writing on the wall, and we imported people into our country who did not share our values. And when they would say, we hate you, we want to change your country, we did not believe them because we thought, oh, they don't mean it. It's just few crazy people mouthing off. My 9/11 happened to me in 1975 in Lebanon, where radical Islamic terrorists blew up my home, bringing it down, burying me under the rubble wounded. I ended up in a hospital for 2.5 months and later ended up living in a bomb shelter underground without electricity, without water, and very little food. And that's where I lived from the age of 10 till the age of 17.
With your family, right?
With my family. We lost everything. By the time I was 20, I had lost most of my friends. I had only 4 friends alive, 4 male friends alive from my high school. I understand what happens when you turn a blind eye to evil. I ended up moving to Israel, meeting an American war correspondent, getting married, and that's how I ended up in America by marriage. And I thought when I came to America, I left all the crazies behind. 9/11 2001 made me realize that the crazies I thought I left behind are now in the United States. And that's what started my activism. Today, when I look at Lebanon, Lebanon is a country completely controlled by a terrorist organization called Hezbollah. People are starving. The government is so corrupt, they stole the money of all the people. There are no rich or poor in Lebanon. Everybody is the same because the government and the central bank stole people's money. So people's life savings are gone. Everybody who is a janitor or whether you're a CEO of a company, you're all starving for bread. I saw how a country can turn from Paris of the Middle East, a republic just like the United States of America, to today a hellhole of a country controlled by terrorists where people are starving, where people have lost their dignity, where fascism, socialism, they are worse than Venezuela. I understand what happens when people turn a blind eye to evil. My past is America's future unless America wakes up today. That's why I speak with such passion. I crossed oceans to come to America. Where else am I going to go? Where else are we going to flee? The millions of us who come to this country who cross oceans because we escaped tyranny. We escaped the hellhole countries we were born into. We come to America for opportunity. We come to America for freedom. We come to America for equality. We come to America for justice. We come for America for its ethics, its honesty, its integrity, its treatment of its people. And America today is turning into a country where the criminals are glorified, where law enforcement is vilified, where our heroes are basically spit upon, where our corrupt leaders and rap artists are glorified. We are importing people who hate America, who despise America, and we are giving them benefits, taking it away from our children with our tax dollars to criminals who are crossing the country to come here. This is why I speak with such passion, and that's why I started my organization, actforamerica.org. And I encourage everybody watching me right now, if my message resonates with you, go to actforamerica.org right now and sign up to join us. I named the organization Act for America. Not think about America, not hope for America, not pray for America, not wish for America, but act for America. Because you can hope and think and pray and wish, but without taking action, nothing happens. Go to actforamerica.org right now. Sign up to receive our emails and action alerts. They're free. We want to make sure we reach you when there's a bill coming down for a vote so we can notify you to call your elected officials. We have everything made so easy for you. Join us as a member, as a proud member of Act for America. Sign up to our membership. Become a member, whether monthly member, whether an annual member. Stand with us and support our work. We don't take any money, $0, from any federal agency because we do not want to be muzzled. We are supported by the goodness of the good people in this country. We have a team that monitors all bills coming down on the federal level and the state level. So no matter what state you live in, we will notify you when there's a bill coming down in Arkansas, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in Vermont, in Wyoming, in Montana, in Florida, in North Carolina. It doesn't matter where you live. We work on state bills and we work on national bills. And I'm proud to tell you, Gary, that we have helped pass over 290 bills on the federal level and the state level to protect the country. Join us. Go to actforamerica.org. Make sure you sign up to get our emails. Join us as a member. Stand with us and support our work. We need you and we appreciate you standing with us.
Thank you for that passionate plea. And the thing about her organization, the good news there is there's not much you have to do, because, you know, for a lot of people, they just don't want to get involved. They just don't want to have to go down to this meeting and go to that. Everything is right there, everybody.
Right.
She will equip you. The type of things you're hearing here that you won't hear on the mainstream media, you will find out so much about not only what has gone on in the country, but what is going on in the country. And speaking of the country, this is the one thing that I still have trouble wrapping my arms around, that there are actually forces in this country, whether they want to be bad guys and communists and overthrow the Constitution or not, that open border and the fentanyl, the gangs, the drugs, the child sex trafficking, the prostitution, but aren't they concerned about terrorists from all over the world coming in, be they coming from Russia, Chinese, the Jungle Tigers, be they from Iran, be they Hezbollah, Taliban, whoever, you know, why aren't the people running this nation, meaning the left, Homeland Security, you know, because Tom Homan's a good, our guys, they know what's going on, but why are they allowed, don't they understand what they're letting in? And the other weird thing about that, when you think about it, Brigitte, they locked us down over a virus that they weren't supposed to lock us down with. And now these people are coming across, they don't have shots. We don't know what they're bringing into the country as far as the amounts of disease. It looks like they don't care.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. They don't care. We are concerned about who comes through the border. We, the people on the right, who care about the safety and security of our country, the safety in our streets. Because right now, every town is a border town. Every state is a border state. Because they're not just staying at the Mexican border. They are coming and being shipped by our government to our cities all over the country. And that's why the border issue is everybody's issue right now. So people like us are concerned and we care. The problem is our government doesn't care, and it looks like they're doing it by design. They don't care. They know terrorists are coming through the country, but they don't care. They want to bring everybody in. And you spoke about even the diseases. You mentioned the lockdown under COVID, how everybody was concerned. Oh my gosh, we don't want anybody to get sick. We're very concerned about the health of everybody in America. Yet here they are importing people. They are not even tested to what diseases they have. You know, when I became an American, when I came to the United States, I was married to an American and I had an American child at that point. So we came here. It was very easy for me to get the green card. But here's what I had to do. I had to take blood tests, and I had the luxury of paying for all my doctor's visits and all my blood work that was required by the government to make sure I had to be tested for leprosy. I had to be tested for tuberculosis. I had to be tested for all sorts of diseases to make sure I'm not bringing any disease into the country before they even consider me for a green card. You cannot believe the process that I had to go through. And so if I had to go through this, how come we're not putting the rest of the people through this process? But that's exactly right now why we are seeing a rise in the United States in cholera, tuberculosis, and especially tuberculosis. We are seeing such a rise in the hard cases of tuberculosis that you cannot treat. It takes 6 months to treat those stubborn cases, and it costs $180,000 to $400,000 per person to be treated for those. And it takes 6 to 8 months to treat it. And we, the taxpayers, are paying for that. This is why I tell people, become engaged. Go to actforamerica.org and find out what you can do. Look, we don't have meetings. Meetings is basically entertainment. It's like you attend Tea Party meeting, the Republican Party meeting, the whatever party meeting, you eat the rubber chicken once a month, you hear a speaker, everybody feels great. Oh my gosh, it was fantastic. We heard the great speaker. Everybody goes home 5 days later, they have no idea what to do. We don't hold meetings. We don't hold entertainment events. We have keyboard activists. We have weaponized every citizen to understand what they can do on their keyboard, sitting their cup of coffee at 7 a.m. in the morning in their pajamas. With a click of a button, you can send an email to all your elected officials. We have an Act Now campaign where we tell you about the bill, you click take action. When you enter your information, depending, so we will know what state you are in, we'll connect you with your elected officials in that state. You say, okay, these are my elected officials, because their pictures pop up. You click confirm, an email pop up already written for you. You don't even have to think what to write, with your name on the bottom. You read it. You want to send it to your elected officials. You click confirm. It automatically goes to all your elected officials. And then a petition pops up. And then social media posts. Our graphic artists design perfect media posts for you. With one click, you can post it on your Facebook, on your Twitter. And then we give you your elected official's phone number to call them. And then we have a script for you on the bottom. You don't even have to think what to say. You could literally read the script while you are with them on the phone. We make it so easy for people to take action. You can take action if you have 2 jobs on your bathroom break in less than 2 minutes, sitting on the potty with your cell phone in your hand going click, 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 click. No excuse for not taking action. We simplified it for everybody. Now is the time to go to actforamerica.org right now. Click on take action and look at all the bills that we are working on.
See, America, why I love this great patriot. Look, I hope you understand what you're listening to, people. You are listening to a great patriot, somebody that faced evil, lived under evil, and is seeing what's happening in this country. And she's saying, no, not in my America, not on my watch. And that's what we should be saying, not on our watch. Brigitte, I really appreciate you coming on. You know, every time you come on, you're so passionate, and I understand where your passion comes from. Your passion comes from you've lived through it, and it's breaking your heart to have to live through this again. So I thank you for the fight, for keeping up the good fight. Don't let them grind you down. And just remember, the hand of God that's on President Trump is also on you, your organization, right, and anybody that wants to keep us free. Because freedom comes from God. It does not come from government. Because if it comes from government, if government you think made you free, government can take freedom away, as you're seeing all around the world. So I thank you for coming on. Is there anything else that you would like to tell the people? Anything else you'd like to promote, such as your books or how they can reach you?
I want people to be courageous. I want people to start speaking up and speaking out and speaking with their friends about the issues. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. Do not live in fear. Do not think, oh my gosh, I don't want to offend anybody. I want to keep my mouth shut. Now is the time to speak up. We've got a country to save, and we've got 3 months to save her. Come together. Put your trust in God, and let's move forward, honoring the legacy of our founding fathers to stand up and fight for this country. May God bless you. Thank you, Gary, for having me with you. I encourage people to go to actforamerica.org right now and join us. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be with you.
And it was great talking to you again, Brigitte. There you have it, everybody. Brigitte Gabriel, telling it like it is. I want to thank Brigitte Gabriel for coming back. This was her 4th appearance on the show, the first on video, and enlightening us to what's really going on behind the scenes in our country, so we can have a better understanding of why somebody even got close enough on a roof with all that security around to shoot a former president and soon to be president of the United States. This shouldn't be happening in America, but it is. And as I hope people that watch this show, if you didn't know, are beginning to understand, it's intentional. So Brigitte is telling us we've got to get this under control now while we still have time to do something about it. So thank you for coming on, Brigitte. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your service. And as I said, God bless you, your family, your organization, and keep up the good fight. Do not let them grind you down. This podcast is available at radioinfluence.com or wherever you get your podcasts. You can find the video version at YouTube, Rumble, and Conservative Television of America. Either way, please subscribe, hit that notification button so you'll get the podcast every time it airs, and be sure to tell your friends about the show. If you go to radioinfluence.com, you will see there's an audio archive where there are more than 175 high-profile guests who have been on the show previously, many several times, the likes of Christina Bobb, Ben Carson, Clay Clark, Peter Navarro, is out of jail, never should have been in there in the first place, Monica Crowley, Tom Del Beccaro, Nick Searcy, Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, Jamie Glazoff, Carol Swain, Pastor Jack Hitz, Carrie Lake, Tom Holman, Mike Lindell, Judge Janine Pirro, Brandon Tatum, Ann Vandersteel, Will Witt. That's just a few who have been on, as I say every week. What they had to say when they were guests is just as valid now because we're still in this fight for the soul of our nation. So I hope you'll check out the audio archive. But that's it for now, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you'll join us the next time. And until then, God bless you, God bless your families, and God bless America.